back to my channel, everyone! If you're a fan of horror games or just have a pulse in general, you've probably heard of Five Nights at Freddy's. This indie game horror series has terrified millions of players with its eerie animatronics and intense jump scares. But if one thing's just as terrifying as the game themselves, is the story. Now, I know you've probably heard it a million times. The FNaF lore is messy. But why? Today we are going to dive in deep into the reasons behind this narrative chaos and try to make sense of madness. So, buckle up and prepare for a wild ride through the convoluted world of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. First up, let's talk about one of the core reasons the FNaF story feels so confusing. Its non-linear narrative. Most games follow a pretty clear timeline, right? Game 1 sets things up, Game 2 builds on that, and Game 3 wraps everything up. Or maybe teases a sequel. Simple, right? But Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't work like that. At all. Instead of giving us a straightforward timeline, the game jumps around all over the place. For example, FNaF 2 is actually a prequel to FNaF 1, but then FNaF 3 jumps into the future. And don't even get me started on this location or Pizza Simulator. This non-linear storytelling means that players are constantly jumping between different points in time, and they're left to piece the puzzle together themselves. Sorry, that was my phone telling me that one of my friends is now live. Anyways, with each game releasing more lore without a clear chronological order, it's no wonder people get lost trying to figure out what happens when, and without a definitive timeline. It's all too easy to misinterpret key details. Next, let's talk about one of the most frustrating and unique aspects of the FNaF series. How much of the story is hidden? This is where Scott Cawthon's genius and evil side really shines through. If you're just playing through games, you might think it's a simple haunted pizza place with a killer robots deal. But what's the real story? It's very deep. Like, really deep. The key lore points often aren't part of the main gameplay. They're hidden in minigames, secret screens, or random bits of dialogue. For example, in FNaF 3, there's a series of secret minigames you can unlock by interacting with random things like wall posters or a cupcake. These aren't just bonus content. They hold essential pieces of the story, like the origins of key characters, the infamous Afton family, the happiest day ending. Just saying. If you miss these, you're missing vital lore. This means that casual players can easily miss major chunks of the story, and even hardcore fans have to do a lot of detective work to piece things together. And that's where things start to get really messy, because not everyone finds the same clues, which leads to different interpretations of the story. Another thing that makes the FNaF story so hard to follow is the use of unreliable narrators and red herrings. Scott loves to keep us guessing. For example, the character of Phone Guy who leaves you these iconic messages in the early games seems like he's there to help you understand what's going on. Some of the information he gives is intentionally vague or misleading. He talks about things like the bite of 87 or casually mentions the animatronics wandering at night. He never gives you the full story. Now these players filling in the blanks and often getting it wrong. And then there's the animatronics themselves, like Golden Freddy and Springtrap. Are they haunted, possessed, or something else entirely? Just when you think you know the truth, Scott throws a curveball. And we end up finding out that Springtrap is actually a man inside the suit. Gross. Oh, and don't even forget about the deliberate red herrings like the constant references to the Bite of 87, which had fans convinced it was central to the story, only to find out that it wasn't quite what they had thought. This is deliberate misdirection that keeps players second-guessing everything they've learned.
The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night, but do I blame them? No. If I were forced to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath, I'd probably be a bit irritable at night too. So remember, these characters hold a special place in the hearts of children and we need to show them a little respect, right? Okay. So just be aware, the characters do tend to wander a bit. They're left in some kind of free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up if they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around during the day too, but then there was the Bite of 87. Yeah. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know?
And just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, Scott decided to change the law over time. Yep, we're talking about retcons. In the early games, the story is pretty vague, and as the series went on, more and more details were added, sometimes contradicting what we thought we knew. Take William Afton, for instance. He wasn't even a named character in the first few games, but by the time FNaF's location and Pizzeria Simulator came around, he's the central villain. This retconning added layers to the story that weren't even there at first, but it also caused a lot of confusion. Suddenly you have characters with multiple identities: Afton, Springtrap, Scraptrap, Burnt Trap, and it makes it so difficult to track who's who and what exactly is their role in the grand scheme of things. Now, one of the most unique things about the FNaF series is its fanbase. The community around FNaF is huge and incredibly dedicated. And here's the thing, because Scott left so much up to interpretation, fans started coming up with their own theories about what's really happening. And these theories, they range from brilliant to downright wild. Take Matt Hatt's game theory videos. He was our main FNaF guy. And while he no longer is, we now have a new contender, and I'm pretty sure those theories are going to go out of the window with the rest of the FNaF games that we're going to be getting. But I'll show you guys a clip of one of the videos from that path.
Now, if you were just to play the game straight through 5 days, the story would actually come across as pretty superficial. You're the new night guard watching the security cameras at a Chuck E. Cheese-style restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. 4 animatronics roam the halls at night because the owners don't want their servos to lock up. Bad news is, you can't let them near you, or else they'll kill you on the spot because you look like a naked endoskeleton.
Why, with enough belief, you could even cheat death itself.
You know, it really is uncanny how these two games overlap. So why then do I dare invoke his name here? Because Gregory is a robot, a rebuilt version of the crying child.
Take a look at this footage from FNaF 2. Seems normal enough, right? But what if I told you that the Mimic is in this video? No, I'm not lying to you. And no, I've not doctored the footage either. The Mimic is here. They have been here since the very beginning. Give up? Well, if you look very closely, you'll find that the Mimic is This guy right here.
While this has made for some amazing YouTube content and tons of fan engagement, it's also contributed to a lot of chaos. When you have thousands of fans coming up with different theories, it's hard to tell what's fan speculation and what's actually canon. Sometimes popular fan theories become so widespread they feel like they're part of the official story. Finally, we have to talk about the expanded universe. FNaF isn't just a series of games anymore. It's an entire franchise with books, graphic novels, and even a movie with another one in the works as we speak. While the books, like Fazbear Frights and the Silver Eyes trilogy, explore the new elements of the story, they also complicate things even further. The books introduce new characters and lore that don't always line up with the games, and fans are left wondering, are these books canon? Should we treat them as separate timelines? This blurring of lines between what's official, what's extra content, has made the story even more difficult to follow. And to top it all off, Scott Cawthon intentionally leaves things ambiguous. There are major mysteries in FNaF that have never been fully answered, and probably never will. Such as what was in the FNaF 4 box. We'll never know, because it's been retconned so many times and is now just being left. Just left there, unanswered for all eternity. But as some people now think, it's gonna be nice. That was probably the puppet inside that box this entire time. Anyways, that ambiguity that has kept fans engaged for years, but it's also left the story feeling slightly incomplete. So, why is the FNaF story so messy? Well, it's a combination of non-linear storytelling, hidden lore, unreliable narrators, retcons, fan interpretations, and an ever-expanding universe. It's a unique storytelling style that's kept fans hooked for nearly a decade, but it's also led to a lot of confusion and debate. Love it or hate it, there's no denying that FNaF's lore is one of the most complicated stories in gaming history. So, what do you think? Is the FNaF story messy in a good way, or is it just too much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And feel free to let me know what games you want me to either play or attempt to cover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and before I forget, special thanks to everyone in the FNaF community for keeping this conversation going. Until next time, keep an eye on those animatronics.
The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night.